A very good morning, students. So here, after our completion of wind pollination, as you know that we have already finished with our basic types of pollination, and we have started with our first type of pollination, that is called your anemophily. Anemophily is a type of cross pollination by wind, right? So here today I'm taking maximum questions from this. Every single question I have taken from this wind pollination, as well as I'm going to discuss two terms which are very important and asked in your viva as well as in the board exam also. That is about the flowers. It is mentioned in NCERT two terms that are very important in the pollination, and these two types of flowers, they are Chasogamis as well as Cleistogamy flower, right? So here as you can see that first question I am taking here is that what are Chasogamous flowers. So first thing, what should be known to you, that what are the Chasogamous flowers. Chasogamous flowers are those, in short term or in short way you can say, that are the open flower in which stigma as well as styles, their stigma and styles, they are exposed, that is visible, they are conspicuous, they are large, or it is outside very clearly visible. So in which they are exposed, they are not hidden anywhere. These type of flowers, they are known as Chasogamous flower. And second category of flower opposite to this, that is the Cleistogamous flowers. Cleistogamy means those flowers in which your sex organs, male and female sex organs, they are enclosed in a flower, they are not exposed, right? So these two terms should be very clear to you. So what is asked in the question to you, that is what are Chasogamous flowers. So they are bisexual flowers or they are unisexual. That Chasogamous flowers are those bisexual. They are those bisexual flowers which open at, when will they open? They open at maturity. Now the moment they will open and expose their stamens and stigma, right? So our first thing is complete. The second thing they have asked, that is, can cross pollination occur in Cleistogamous flower. Cleistogamous flowers, they do not open at all, right? So your answer will be very clear, that cross pollination in Cleistogamous flower, not at all. But why? The reason, because Cleistogamous flowers, they never open at all. They do not expose their sex organs, they do not expose their stamen and stigma, right? They do not expose it. अगर stamen and stigma ही बाहर नहीं आएंगे तो there are no chances for cross pollination. So first question is clear to all of you, that what are Chasogamous flowers and why Cleistogamous flowers, they cannot show cross pollination. Okay, second question we are taking here is, mention two strategies, mention two such points, or mention two such techniques, two strategies to prevent, so that you can prevent self pollination in plants. So give those two any method or any technique so that there should be no self pollination in the flowers. First thing, if the flower is unisexual, Unisexual means only the male and female sex organs, they will be separate. So there is no chance of your self-pollination. So first you can write down that the flowers, they are unisexual. So if your flower is unisexual, or for plants we use another term in terms of monoecious and dioecious, as well as you can write down the plants, they are dioecious. Unisexual usually word we use for the animal category, but here for the plants we use two very technical terms, and those terms are monoecious and dioecious. Second, see, anther has to reach till the stigma. I told you very initially also that if there is no match between the maturation, suppose it is late, both are not getting matured at the same time, or the anther which is released, it is not compatible with the stigma. Compatibility होती है कि match ही नहीं हो रहा है. If it is not compatible with the stigma, then there will be no self pollination, right? So self incompatibility, then it will wait for the cross pollination. It happens sometimes that the even few flowers, they are capable of self pollination, but because of this point, that is self incompatibility, it is a kind of genetic, because of some changes, it is a genetic mechanism which prevent, that is why we are writing incompatibility, that prevent self pollination. It prevents what? Self pollination. So agar self pollination nahi hoga, the ovules, there will be no fertilization of egg, right? The next question I am taking here quickly from the anemophily, right? That is a NCRT question. See, I am not leaving a single NCRT question. I am going to revise every single NCRT question, right, in my assignment. So here quickly let's write down this. Both wind and as well as water, water is hydrophily, both wind and water pollinated flowers, they are not very colorful. We know that even the wind flowers, they are not very colorful. And as well as the second thing is, they do not produce nectar. These are the bacha characteristics of anemophilic plants. This is your practical question also, that write down the three characteristics that why those plants which show anemophily. So they are not colorful, they are very dull, and they do not produce nectar. So what do you think, that what would be reason for this, that the plant which pollinated by wind as well as water, they are not at all colorful, they do not produce any kind of scent, because they do not need to attract, they do not need to attract anyone, right? They do not need to attract insects, they do not need to attract birds, they do not need to attract animals, as both water and your this air, they are abiotic agencies or agents for pollination. So abiotic agencies, they do not need these kind of things, right? To attract definitely insects, birds, animals, you need the colorful as well as nectar. The next question quickly I am taking is again from the very important thing, that is your Cleistogamy. Why are because these terminology, they are very very important. Why are Cleistogamous flowers invariably autogamous? Now question is very simple, but sometimes students, they get confused again with this question, that why are Cleistogamous flowers invariably, they are autogamous. Bacha, what is autogamy? Self pollination. What is Cleistogamy? That is the flower which is enclosed, flower in which sex organs are there in a complete closed flower. So definitely it means flower is unisexual or flower is bisexual. Cleistogamous flowers. First thing, always mention to your checker or to your teacher that what do you know about the terms Cleistogamous. Now you are writing the answer, right? So you need to mention that Cleistogamous flowers are flowers. They are which kind of flowers? Are bisexual flowers which do not open at all, even at maturity. So anther as well as stigma, they are present very close to each other. They are always present very close to each other, and self-pollination can happen very easily. Self-pollination can occur very, very easily, right? So this question is, if you are clear with the autogamy, if you are clear with your Cleistogamy term, if you are clear with your Chasogamy, then I don't think you will never ever do this question wrong, right? So now 3 plants I marked today. That is in your NCRT. 3 marks in the pollination. In your especially the that is which can produce 2 type of flowers, Chasogamis as well as Cleistogamous. These 3 flowers, they are in your NCRT. That is your oxalis. Then there is your viola, right? And third is your Commelina. Third one is Commelina, right? These 3 plants, they produce, out of this sometimes they give two names like oxalis and viola. They produce, there is a one direct line from NCRT. They produce assured seed sets even in absence of pollinators. Give your reason. They produce assured seed sets even in the absence of pollinators. If you are not reading NCRT, then to forget about this question. Then you will get never idea that what we are talking about. Bacha, oxalis and viola. Oxalis and viola, or there is sometimes they give another name also, P. They produce which kind of flowers? Agar assured seed set likha hai, to you will mention Chasogamis or you will mention Cleistogamous? You should mention Cleistogamous flowers. They produce which kind of flowers? That is Cleistogamous flowers, in which anther, I will not repeat those lines, in which anther and stigma, they present very close to each other. So when anther dehisces in the flower, the pollens, they fall on stigma. They fall on stigma and fertilize to produce assured seed set, right? To produce assured seed set. So we are clear with these terminology, right? So this was there were the few questions that were from the previous year's question. Still quickly I will take 1 mark question that is from your anemophily, right? I am taking this. Why are pollen grains produced in large quantity? Why are pollen grains produced in large quantity? I'm giving 4 examples I have given in my video about the anemophily plant. So here I am giving you the example, that is maize. Why are the pollen grains? They are produced in large quantity. First direct answer is because pollination is by wind, right? Pollination is by wind. So when pollen grains, they come in contact with the stigma, so there are the chances that many of get them destroyed or lost. So that is the reason it has to produce large quantity of pollen grains. So two characteristics of pollen in plants like maize and coconut, which kind of pollen grains should be there? Pollen grains should be light as well as non-sticky, right? Always remember that pollen grain should be light as well as non-sticky. Taking last question here, that is the tallest, that is a 1 mark question. You have to name tallest flower, plant which has tallest flower. That is the answer from your NCERT. I should not answer this question, but still I am giving. That is the Amorphophallus. 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 And Amorphophallus is about this flower. Why we call it is the tallest? It has 6 feet in height. 6 feet in height. Another 1 mark question is disadvantage of self-pollination. Disadvantage of self-pollination. One disadvantage. One, that is continuous same genetic pool will be there, gene pool will be same. So this leads to one line is there, that it leads to inbreeding depression. Bache, for many years same genes are getting multiplied, same genes are getting divide and transferred. So this leads to, that is the same word I am writing only, that is leads to inbreeding depression, right? So these were the few questions from our anemophily. Bache, anemophily is your practical part also. It is a spotting part also, in which you have to mention your 3 to 4 points. Then there is that is all about your Chasogamis, Cleistogamis, as well as your anemophily flowers. Tomorrow we will discuss a few more points, or every single question from the other type of pollination, hydrophily and tomophily, pollination by bats, right? Till then, all of you can make your assignments for your boards, and if I will get time, I will upload a few more questions of your multiple choice also for your NEET practice, right? Till then, all of you take care.